Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that the temp is starting to drop here in southeast Texas, and that means smoking season is finally upon us. The bad news is old Dinah here is not quite ready, and she needs a makeover. So we're going to clean her up, re-season her, give her a nice new hat and new jacket. Let's get cooking. I bought this cover for Dinah back in 21, so it's 3 years old now and needs to be replaced. The handles are broken, and it's become pitted and stiff from the sun. Let's take a look at how Dinah herself has held up over the last 3 years. As you can see, she's lost a bit of her shine. Let's get a closer look. She has a few rust spots on her firebox, all three sides actually. And I never liked that stack. It doesn't open or close all the way. It's just my opinion, but I think it's pretty damn useless. And I just might have to do something about it. Inside the smoking chamber isn't too bad. It just needs a cleaning and a re-season. Same with the firebox. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove all the grates. Then, with a plastic bench scraper that I picked up at the dollar store, by the way, I'm going to scrape out any carbon buildup. Now, I wouldn't use a metal scraper for this, because just like cleaning a cast iron pan, I wouldn't want to scratch it or remove the original seasoning. This will also require removing the grate holders as well. You might want to wear gloves because it might get a little greasy. Then I'm going to sweep up the mess and the interior of the smoker and the firebox. Now before I get to re-seasoning, let's talk mods. This is a drum smoker stack I bought on Amazon. There are various models out there ranging in price and thickness of metal, but I chose this one because Dinah's steel is pretty thin and I didn't think I would need a thicker one. The link to this is in the description. But why even upgrade the stack, and why this kind of stack? Well, I wanted something about the same size as the original so I could get a cover on. And I think this one is ideal because I can fully open and close it. Plus, it's a bit wider than the original, which should provide better airflow. To install it, I simply removed the 4 screws that held the original stack on. The new stack holes did not line up completely, so rather than drill new holes into Dinah, I'm going to just mount it with 1 screw. And then, using the same heat caulking I used before, I'm going to cover the edges and any holes that don't have a screw. Unfortunately, the applicator became clogged over time, so I had to cut a piece off the bottom. It worked okay, but it wasn't a very neat job, and that's okay. I'll probably be redoing it very soon anyway. After I sealed everything up around the new stack, I waited, as per the instructions, for the 2 hours before I began re-seasoning. You re-season the same way you would have seasoned it the first time, by spraying it with a high-temp oil like vegetable oil or PAM. If you don't want to use a spray, you can use a rag and oil. It doesn't matter how it gets on there, just make sure to cover the entire outside and inside and hit any rust spots extra heavy. Then simply fill your firebox basket with coals and light it up. Once the coals get going, I like to add a few wood chunks for seasoning. This is optional, but I feel like the extra smoke adds to the seasoning on the inside of the smoker by sticking to the oil. You may on occasion have to let more air get to the coals or stoke the fire a bit. I'm using this handy battery-operated blower from Zippo, which works quite well. I'll leave a link in the description. You want to get the heat up there in temp. Max it out if you can, because the higher temp will really bake that oil into the metal. It's also a good idea to do some touch-up spraying if you find some dry spots or want to add an extra coat of seasoning. Another good idea is to wipe up excess oil on the ground or the smoker if it's dripping or starts to pool. The whole seasoning process takes about 2 or 3 hours until the oil is baked in and the seasoning is complete. Let's take a look at the finished product. As you can see, she has her shine back. Looking closer, you can see the rust spots are gone and there's a nice seasoning coat to protect the metal once more. Inside the smoking chamber looks pretty good as well. I would say that Dinah is now ready for another great season of smoke. Nothing left to do now but put on her new jacket. An actual bona fide Dyna-Glo wide body cover, which I have to say is of a really good quality. And no, they didn't pay me to say that. Ain't nobody paying me nothing, unfortunately. I'm going to do some other minor things to Donna, like put in some new insulation and reseal the whole thing, but for now, I'm pretty happy with the results. If you're looking for the ultimate Dyna-Glo wide body tutorial, hit the link up top or in the description below. My son and I decided to throw something on to smoke after the seasoning. To find out what it was and to see how the new stack stacks up, tune in next time on Chuck is Cooking. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.